Hey everybody, it's the CCJT Amateur Hour where production values go to die. Over there is CC.
And over there is JT.
And we're not awake. It's been a week.
Really not awake.
And it doesn't help that she's into superstition, black cats, and voodoo dolls. I've had this premonition. This girl's going to make me fall.
Are you living La Vida Loca
I'm living
again?
Yeah, again.
Today is Sunday, July 14th, 2024. And this is episode
180, I think.
180. Wow.
Really, 180. Yeah, we've been doing this for 180 episodes, 4 years since the lockdown. And if you're new to our experience, as I usually quickly explain, is we are writers of a certain age, and we're here to help writers write. We have quite the library that we've put together, and we're going to be talking about expanding that library. Woo. We've learned a few things, and we are working on becoming a company.
We are working it
We're working a lot. We're so busy, and we've got something happening this week, and we have something happening next week, and it's all going la vida loca.
Very La Vida Loca.
Yeah.
And,
so see how it all sort of blends together.
Yes, and we should mention that I am nominated
Yeah,
as co-host of this podcast. Yeah. But okay, then you go ahead and take it away.
I forget. Okay. So we're happy to announce, among the many things that's happening to us right now, gosh, we're busy, is that you've been nominated for a Women in
Podcasting
Award, and this is very exciting, and this will be a voter-based thing. So we're gonna win
People's Choice.
People's Choice. So when it kicks off, we're gonna be out here, begging for votes. There may be prizes. No, okay. Anyway, no.
We've tried
okay.
that.
So very. What's going on?
So this is the inaugural Women in Podcasting Award with this group, and the nomination period, I believe, runs until the end of July. Voting starts August 1st, and I am nominated for co-hosting our podcast in the books and authors category. There are a lot of very interesting podcasts and very
amazing,
a variety of topics.
Yes.
It's really, there is quite the field out there. I have no expectation of winning anything, but it is good for visibility, which is one of the things we're looking for. It's also good to see what people think of our podcast, because we do have a small but very loyal listenership, I guess. So that's something we will be continuing to talk about in the coming weeks, especially as voting opens.
And not the least of which, it's amazing to see all this talent out there in the podcasting field. And we can go back and forth about the gender thing, but what I found when I was looking at the pages, just the amazing, maybe eclectic, but the talent,
diverse,
the passion. It's just, as they say, it's an honor to be even nominated, to be counted amongst them.
Very much so.
Big job. Nice.
Thank
Very
you.
proud of you. Very proud of you. And how are you feeling about it?
I'm actually excited. Like I said, I don't expect to win, but the podcast is something that came about very organically. Something for us to do during lockdown. We found that we really enjoy it. We love talking about writing. We love writing, obviously, but it is something that's very dear to both of us, I think. So it would be nice if there is some recognition, at least, if not a win for the podcast, because it's, like you said, it's an honor to be nominated.
Yeah, it's fantastic for you. So mucho congratulations.
Thank you.
And we'll try to get a link in the blog post if the blog poster.
Well, we have graphics and things like that, so we will be sending things out, and the link to the voting will go out on August 1st. So if you're interested, let us know. I'll probably be posting the link on social media once it's active. But
anyway, congratulations
definitely.
Again. That is such good news, and
Thank you.
Well deserved, because 180 episodes is something to be proud of. It's something that we've had a history, and I'm not giving away any secrets here. So we've had a history of not sticking to things because there is just so many distractions. Sometimes
it's easy to get
distracted. And we're not unique in that way. The flavor of the week comes along, and it's easy to get off the freeway and aim towards that flavor of the week. But that you've stuck it stuck to it, for 180 episodes, where production values go to die.
Part of it is coffee.
It's the coffee, yeah, it's the coffee.
But it is something that we did try to upgrade our equipment, and as you said, where production values go to die, we're back to our handy dandy snowball mic because it works for us. We don't put a lot of time and effort into it, and that's one of the reasons we've stuck it out for so long, I think, because it is something that we can do. The social media aspect of promoting it takes a little bit of time and work, but the doing the podcast itself is just a time for us to sit down on a Sunday morning usually.
Mm-hmm.
We've done some other days of the week for various reasons, and it's I know I look forward to it every week, and I hope you do too.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because gosh darn, we don't get enough quality time together.
Especially now.
Okay.
You should tell the story behind that shirt.
Well, come here. We have a lot going on. We have a lot going on.
Someday we will tell you the story behind that shirt. Stay tuned.
We've also decided that we are going to take a mini-me, and we're taking off this week.
A mini bat, basically.
A mini big ass trip. And if I remember, I'll try to post the picture of our route, our proposed route. But this is going to be an interesting, emotional trip if we go the way we go. So we're going down to see Elaine and Mike, the awesome aunt and the awesome uncle in West Sacramento, River City, and then we're heading for points north.
Very north.
Heading north, heading up I-5 to what started this was CC randomly going, oh, they have a Monet in the Portland Museum, and it's like, well, things went downhill from there.
Big Monet fan. We actually went to the Monet Museum in Paris specifically.
Yeah, because I'm a Monet fanboy.
Yes, which turned out to be a little disappointing, but...
Yeah, it turns out every museum in the world has a better Monet, but we did get to see the Monet.
We got to see the original version of the print that is hanging in our bedroom.
So that was pretty awesome. But we also have learned that if you want to see Monets, you need to go to everywhere else. Like, we were just randomly went to one of our favorite museums in Sacramento, which is the
Crocker.
The Crocker. And they randomly had a Monet there just going through. And that's not the first time we come across random Monets. We did spring training in 2020, which was our last.
Oh, right. Just before
lockdown. Literally just before lockdown.
And it was raining.
And we decided to go to this Phoenix Museum, which I can't remember the name of. And they had an exhibit. No, this wasn't an exhibit. This was on permanent display.
Right.
And they randomly had a Monet. So we have found Monet in strange places.
If I remember correctly, if I'm thinking of the right museum, that was funny because we mentioned Uncle Mike, the awesome uncle, and that museum had some cars.
Yeah,
and
that was a
big
troubling
car fan. So, and also we went to the Art Institute in Chicago, I believe. Didn't we see a Monet there as well?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they have, but I think that's a permanent display. But
yes, but
we've seen better Monets outside the Monet Museum. Okay, we're way off. Okay, so we are but you can tell what happens with fanboy. So it's like, so why don't we go up to Portland to go up to see the Monet? Oh, that's a great idea. And then it just went downhill from there. So we're going to go to...
Well, it went uphill. We're going north.
Portland. And then we're going to, of course, go through Seattle. We're going to go through Port Angeles or Port Washington.
I think it's Port Angeles.
Mm-hmm. Go up to my old stomping grounds on Vancouver Island. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to head back down through Vancouver. And then we're going to wander over to Oregon, which will be the second time we've been in Ontario this year, so to speak.
A different Ontario.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll head on back down to Nevada. So we're doing a mini-me. It's going to be more than 2,000 miles.
Mini.
So Herbie, our beloved car.
Road car, yep.
Yeah, beloved car is going to be getting another workout, but that's fine because Herbie's great.
Well, and on top of that, we're talking about doing another big ass trip
next
in 2025.
Year.
So,
but for this one, we're going to be leaving probably around Thursday-ish, and we're going to be wandering up the West Coast, the West, the PNW, mm-hmm. and then coming back down. So that's going to be exciting.
And part of the reason for the timing is that we've been under a heat wave for over a week now. It's been hot.
Yeah.
And our house is old and it's situated in a way that it stays fairly cool. It does get a little stuffy because we have to close things up during the heat of the day, but it's going to be nice to go up somewhere where it may be hopefully a little drizzly, a little damp, a little cool.
A little smoky.
True, there are a lot of fires in California right now, but and I remember mentioning this when we went on our trip back in April and May that it rained almost every single day of that trip.
Yeah.
And I was like, we better enjoy it now because summer is coming and it's going to be hot and dry. And boy, was I right.
It was. So we're looking forward to that. That's going to take maybe 10 days, maybe a little longer, somewhere in there. Whereas our big ass trip took 20 days.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna knock off a couple of states off our list. The last thing is going on because, like I said, we're busy. Is while we're on this trip, my latest book is going to go into pre-release. It's going to go into
Pre-sale.
pre-release on July 24th.
Which is JT's birthday.
So it's going into pre-release, and so if you're a fan of ours on social media, you will see that we've got stuff going on social media. So I'll put a link to that book there too. And sometime between now and when we leave, we'll do a title reveal and we'll do a cover reveal.
Well, you've already started the cover reveal.
Yeah.
So if you're following us, you've seen that post, hopefully.
So that's going to be. So I have to do all of the book
Prep.
stuff. I have to do all the book stuff, and if you followed us on social media, you'll find that I've been working on the final technical edit of the book, and I'm not kidding here. It did 5 hours of just the word had, H-A-D, not H-A-D, not like apostrophe D like he'd, but just had. Fixing that because that's passive speech, and so reworking all those sentences and paragraphs that had the word had in it.
Plus the process of finally approving the cover.
Oh yeah,
which that was quite the process.
Yeah, and it's still ongoing because there's nit noise stuff, not terrific, not terrible things, but there were things that had to be fixed in the cover. Mm-hmm. So all of this has been going on simultaneously, and this all has to be done by Thursday. So, because we're leaving Thursday. So that'll be fun. Yeah.
As long as the creek don't rise.
Yeah, as long as the creek don't rise. So that leads us, unless you can think of something else, that transitions us into today's subject is what we see on social media quite frequently. I wish I was a full-time writer. Okay. And we are full-time writers.
Now we are.
And we're going to talk about what it takes to be a full-time writer. And we've got caveats.
Yes. Well, probably should give them a little background on our writing history. And that we've mentioned this previously, but both of us have retired now from public service. We held a variety of jobs over the years, but both of us spent more than 20 years in public service. And 20 years each, yes. I think you said at one point that between the two of us, we put a half a century of public service out there.
Well, I did 40 years myself between...
Oh, right, the
40
military.
years myself between my time in the Air Force and my time with the state of Nevada.
Government. Yep.
And so you, very close to 30 years.
True, yes.
Very close to 30 years. And we don't say that to brag, but to provide a foundation.
Right. So we were working the types of jobs where it is long hours and you're really thinking a lot about your work when you're not in the office. Plus, we had 3 kids. We both went to school while working to get our degrees. I got a bachelor's, you got a master's. We have a couple associates. Actually, we have multiple associate's degrees between us. And you have 4 or 5?
We have 8 degrees between us,
right.
But most of those are associate degrees, not denigrating the associate degrees because they are real.
They're very important.
But they're very important. But we could say in a way that we paid our dues. We paid our dues to get here.
Just to say that we had a very busy schedule during all those years. And
we are retired. And this is probably the most important caveat.
Yes.
Is we have pensions.
Yes.
So when people talk about, throwing that switch to be a full-time writer, we have a different situation. Mm-hmm. We have a different situation, whereas folks who want to be a full-time writer, if they throw that switch, having that income to survive. We have that. Many people who have that desire don't.
Thought I heard thunder.
Okay, so that's an important caveat that we want to bring out. Right, we can afford to be full-time writers,
and we're talking about just writing. You mentioned that other people have to make an income from their writing, so they may augment that with editing services, book cover design, selling stickers, creating coursework and things like that. So them being a full-time writer means that they're also doing a lot of other things to help augment their income.
So we put up these caveats, and it's obviously it's a complex subject. It's a complex subject. So it's our situation may not apply to other situations. It certainly wouldn't apply to you. But we're talking about is the quick lessons that we learned since becoming full-time writers. There's so much I want to say. My brain is not catching up to my mouth.
Right.
I'll just fall back to saying that it is a complex subject and it is a stressful subject because, first of all, I guess what we should say is we don't have to be full-time writers.
No. No, this is something we want to do. I actually put out a TikTok yesterday because as we were discussing this podcast, I came to the realization that we are living the dream. And in the past, we've mentioned success and what success means to a particular person. And in our case, we have been successful in that we have been able to retire with a pension that, we did take a pay cut basically, but we're still doing well enough that we can currently make do on what we're making. There may be other income in the future, but the living as a full-time writer, whatever that means, putting the books out there, whether or not anybody ever reads them, we are living the dream. This is the dream we've had for our whole adult lives.
And we feel a great deal of empathy for folks that do not have that, supplementary income that they are living. They're living the dream, but they're also living the stress of depending on their writing. And there are times that I wondered, quite honestly, if that's not the way to go, because
it's inspirational because early on, when I was
desperational.
Yes, as a stay-at-home mother, one of the reasons I was so driven to write so much was it was something I could do at home with the kids when they were napping or something, and hopefully make some income that way. Didn't work out. Probably ended up spending more than we made.
But still, it was a lesson.
But it was something that I probably was a lot more productive at that time because I was so driven to try to get work out there to make some money.
So the things that we've learned since we've become full-time writers is that that first of all, it is a business. It's a business. So it's an art. It's a form of art. It's it's liberal arts. Fortunately, that we have some liberal arts degrees, but it is a business too, and so that's one thing that can't be understated. Because, like with any business, there is a product, there is expectations, there are deadlines, there is products that need to be put out there, there are products that need to be refined, there is customers that need to be developed. There's a client base. So there's all that business stuff that goes with it.
And creating the client base is really the most challenging part right now. There is a lot up here that we need to get down on the keyboard. And JT's been doing a great job of that. I'm starting to get back into that rhythm. And then on the side, I'm taking some digital marketing classes that I'm learning a lot about creating potential buyer profiles and figuring out the best ways to do search engine optimization and all that. And that takes time away from writing and editing and all the other things that I want to be doing. But if we want to actually promote our products, then that's a necessary step.
Yeah. And with any business, any small business, there is the commitment to the small business. So aside from all the keyboarding that we have to do and the studying that we have to do to sustain our business, there is the fact that is we can't escape from our business. We can't escape from our typing. We can't escape from our, artwork, because that's what we're doing, artwork. It's nearly 24/7. Whereas when we were creating books while we were working,
Right.
doing the hourly wage thing, we could use the day job to escape from the night job. And we
So
did.
if you were anything like me, you were probably occasionally in a meeting or something and your mind would start wandering too.
But it was an
Right.
escape. It was something that we could use to escape because we were employed. We had employers, and
Yes.
our employers had expectations. Go figure. And guess what? When you become a full-time writer, you cannot escape from being a full-time writer. There is no longer, you can say, well, we can watch this movie or watch this show and we can let our minds get away from it. But guess what, people? You're thinking about what they're doing and how they did it when you're watching a movie or show, and you're thinking, well, maybe I can use this. Damn it.
Or you're watching a movie or a show that includes a writer and
Yeah.
you're thinking, that's not what it's like.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of movies. Writers are popular as characters in media because it seems very romantic. And there is, I think, a level of mystery to the writing process that non-writers have expectations of what the life of a writer is like. And so there's this whole idea of the glamour and the glitz, and you sit down and, ooh, that movie you just recently recommended to me, the A Family Affair with
Right.
Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman. Not to give too much away because it is a recent movie, but Nicole Kidman's character is a writer. She's a well-known writer, and it's a big part of who she is. And the amount of time you see her writing in the movie, minimal.
Yeah.
So, but the reality of being a full-time writer is you're at the keyboard all day, or else you're not getting any work done.
And if you're not at the keyboard all day, you're thinking about being at
Right.
the keyboard all day, which we discussed at the beginning of this podcast with the release of the next book. If we're going to be today is Sunday, and if we're going to be leaving on Thursday, and we have the pre-sale a week from Wednesday. When is my birthday?
Yeah. It's a week from either Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah.
I got X number of days to get all this stuff done before we leave, but not only getting things out there.
The book release paranoia, how many typos are there going to be?
We got to do it all now.
And with a pre-sale, it is a good thing to promote your book that way, but there's always, especially in our case, up to this point, there's always the possibility that it will fall flat and nobody will buy a book.
Yeah.
And then idea of using the pre-sale to kind of help build momentum for your book, and that goes back to success being relative.
Yeah, and so I could tell you folks right up front that being a full-time writer is this. It's a roller coaster
Very
of
much.
feelings. It's a roller coaster of stress. But honestly, with this particular book, using it as an example, with it 4 years of making, and it's not just a book, by the way, it's a book series.
3 so far.
It's 3 books, and also the prequels. Yeah, I'm writing prequels. To actually get it going is kind of emotional release too, because finally it's getting it out there.
And in our day jobs, you would have a project, you would complete a project. You're usually working on it with multiple other people. It's going to be a shorter term thing where it's usually you've got a turnaround of weeks, maybe a month or 2 at the most. And there is that satisfaction of saying, okay, this one's done, I'm moving on to the next one. Whereas, like you said, 4 years on a single book, which actually in this case it's the 3 books, but so far. And when you release the book, there is that sense of accomplishment. But then if you don't get any feedback or anything, it's also a bit of a letdown. So there is a lot of this.
There's a lot of this, and we
You're
did
getting both sides.
Before I did retire. We did have this big ass project, this big ass conversion project where we went from a legacy system into a modernized system, and it took years.
Yes,
it took years. It took millions of dollars and thousands of people hours, and once we flipped the switch,
any platform, any software, anything that you are upgrading to is always going to have bugs. And sometimes the bugs are insurmountable. And there were cases where there were large projects like that where they had to revert back to the legacy system. But in this case, I don't think that was
No, that wasn't. No,
what
once
happened.
we jumped off the cliff and we were done with the legacy system, and that is the major difference between this and a book release. That's for a book that's been written for 4 years, is if I find bugs, I can quickly upload a correction, and probably will quickly upload a correction. It's
Well, we should also say that we, as full-time writers, are not pursuing traditional publishing with a large publishing house. We're not looking at hybrid publishing with a smaller, small to mid-size publishing house. What we're doing is everything on our own, and that's why, it's the writing. We do farm out the editing. We do, in JT's case, go outside for the book covers. So we do have help on some aspects of it, but otherwise we're doing everything ourselves.
Yeah, so being a full-time writer is kind of jumping off that cliff every day.
It's like having 80 plus hours a week of work.
Oh, it's more than, yeah.
That's why I said plus. It's
lots of plus.
Basically 2 full-time jobs. You're wearing so many hats, and this is not to say that we are at all complaining. Maybe we also had a little bit of the the romance of, oh, look at that writer in the movie, and they spent like 5 minutes writing, and now they're a best-selling author, and it's like, that's not reality, folks. Not for most of us.
So if you are in the situation where you do have the 2 full-time jobs, the day job and the writing job, we want to say not only have we lived that, but we have so much respect for you. We have so much admiration for you. That we empathize, and we have a lot of respect for you. So for folks out there that are working that life of having the day job and the night job, and then along that having a real life with family and relations and everything like that, believe me, we have so much respect for you.
Yes,
we've been there, but not only have we been there, but we have so much respect for you that we cannot really empathize or express our admiration for you, our admiration and respect for you.
And it's, as I said, not to complain about what we're doing. We're very lucky to be doing what we're doing and to be able to do what we're doing full time, because that's what we've wanted. It's more that we're saying that be careful what you wish for, because it is a lot of work. It could be that we would say, okay, maybe we're not professional full-time writers, maybe we're hobby full-time writers, and then we wouldn't be putting quite as much pressure on ourselves. But we are trying to put out as professional product as possible. We want to build up the library. We both have a lot of ideas in our head that we want to get out there. Like JT is often saying, the cat scratching its way out of the box, that we're doing this probably partially to maintain our mental health, to keep busy as retirees, to hopefully entertain somebody somewhere along the line, leave a legacy. There's so many reasons to be doing this. Personal satisfaction. So we're trying to be as professional as possible, and it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. I think I don't want to say that we're working harder than we did at our day jobs, because we worked very, very hard at our day jobs.
Oh yes.
Because we had not only our bosses and our chain of commands expectations, but we had also our own expectations of what is a good job. But I'm curious now is we're coming, as you can tell, we're coming to the end of today's podcast. Mm-hmm. We must have forgotten something about the challenge of being a full-time writer. So we ask those who are living the full-time writer's lives. Did we forget something important? Did we not include? And most importantly, do you feel disrespected? Because I hope.
Oh no.
I hope we don't. We hope you don't. We hope you feel that we didn't disrespect you.
No.
We not only did we, for those of you that are working day jobs, but those of you that are working full-time lives, Did you feel disrespected at all?
You know,
It's a
getting
complex
up,
subject.
some people get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to get an hour or two of writing in before they go to work, or they'll stay up well into the night after their kids have gone to bed, after they've done a full day of work. And there are only 24 hours in a day, and you got to sleep sometime. You need the downtime. So we definitely don't minimize what you're doing at all. We have been there. We have both been there, and it is draining. It's stressful when you want to be doing more of something, but you have so many other obligations. So we definitely respect you, and we hope that you keep well. Try not to overextend yourself. Definitely don't give up on the writing, because writing is very important, and as we've said, it's probably a large part of who you are as a person, and that's why you do it. So
Yeah, that's why we do it, because I don't know if we could do anything else. I don't know if we could stop doing the full-time writing thing. It would be interesting to see a life without it, but yeah, no, okay. What I'm asking is if did we miss anything? Is there something that we should have included? Is there some consideration? I hope you don't feel that those listeners and watchers. I hope you don't feel like that we treated this subject lightly, because.
Well, also, as we mentioned, we're doing this from an independent author perspective. We'd be very interested to hear if you've been traditionally published. How has that gone for you? If you are a full-time writer who has been traditionally published, what have been your challenges? I know that a lot of maybe mid-level authors with large publishing houses don't have a lot of marketing support and things like that. So those can be challenges. How much do you get in the way of editorial, and do you get to help determine your covers, all of that. So what are your challenges? We're interested to hear about those too.
Yep. Okay. I think we're coming to a logical end of our podcast, and so of course we always want to hear back from folks, and we want to hear what their opinions of what we've done here, and so reach out to us and let us know what you think. Is there anything anything else we want to talk about? Because we talked about the upcoming trip, we talked about your fantastic Women in Podcasting thing, we talked about the upcoming pre-release that's happening next week. Is there anything else we want to chat about?
Just, I'm working on my project as well, so finally getting into that rhythm, and was writing a very emotional scene yesterday that reminded me that writing takes a lot out of you, both physically and emotionally sometimes. So
yeah, it's funny how we spend X number of hours in front of the computer pounding away, and at the day it's like, why am I so tired? And well, yeah, we're tired because we're putting ourselves out there, and so
yes, it is. It can be as physically demanding as I worked in a job where I was lifting a lot of heavy boxes over the course of a day. So this is equally demanding on my body.
yeah,
it's tiring.
yeah. It's funny, as we've often said, that writing is something that we do in private on a public stage, and so we certainly feel it. Okay. So we are looking forward to what's coming up. We're looking forward to our lives. We're looking forward to what's going to be happening over the next couple of weeks, and of course we're going to be dragging our little snowball along, and we're going to be dragging you along. So if you are in the PNW area, if you are in the Portland, Seattle, Victoria, Port McNeil, Vancouver, and Ontario, Oregon. Area, if you've got something that you think we should see, drop us a line. I think we're just going to go ahead and close this down. Quick last thought.
Have a great week.
Have a great week, and we'll be posting out on social media so you can follow along. So again, over there is CC,
and over there's JT.
We hope that no matter what, that you have a wonderful life and that you have a wonderful week, and we look forward to reaching out to you from the road again.
In case you missed it the first time.
So we're going to have some fun. Okay.
And a book will be coming out of all our travels this year too. So more writing.
Okay, so we'll talk to you later. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.